I am dying right now.
All these rocks, I've been hiking since 6:30. It's almost 12. I still have 2 miles.
I had my first blister.
Oh, this shit is really hard. This is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
This is probably my lowest point. Oh, GMT, holy frick.
I am so excited to do this video. This is gonna be 10 things that I wish I knew before hiking the John Muir Trail. This is gonna be so extremely valuable to anybody that's gonna be doing the John Muir Trail, especially if you're going northbound. Stick around for the end of the video because I have a bonus tip that I'll go over that's also extremely valuable. Let's get into it. Number 1, altitude is not a joke, okay? I come from Oregon, flatland. I'm assuming most people are going to be coming from places that are at sea level, somewhere around there. Take altitude seriously. They recommend you take a couple days to acclimate, right? Did I do that? Not really. I started at Horseshoe Meadows, which was at like 9,000 feet or something like that. And I did a night there, and then I just hit the trail. The first 2 days that I was on the trail, first 2.5 days, I was on death's door, okay, with altitude. I didn't think it was gonna affect me. I had Diamox, I never took it. I didn't want it to like screw me up and stuff like that, but I would take it if I was severely sick. But I would recommend possibly getting a prescription for that just in case. The other thing, bring electrolytes or bring some sort of drink mix that helps with altitude sickness. I know there's a lot of companies that make stuff like that. I am 100%, when I do the Sierra High Route, probably next year, I'm going to be bringing those mixes, okay? Elevation on Mount Whitney. When you get to the trail crest, there's 1.9 miles to the top. Make sure you bring enough water for that. It's a pretty damn slow 1.9 miles, okay? I thought it was going to be fast. I ran out of water. Thankfully, I knew some people that were up there that had water, gave me some water. Do not underestimate elevation. Number 2, buy those silly looking gaiters. Soon as I got on the trail, I was like, oh my God, I should have brought gaiters. Gaiters are those little things that you can put over your shoe to avoid dirt and sand and stuff like that from getting into your shoes. Parts of the JMT are like literally walking in a sandbox. It's so, there's so much sand that gets into your shoes, especially if you're wearing the Ultras. They have those little like things on the back and it just conveniently flips sand into your shoe. So if you're not wearing gaiters, it's gonna go straight in there. I was lucky enough to only have 2 blisters on trail, but one of those was definitely a result of the fact that I was getting sand in my shoe after I had got the shoe wet after a water crossing. So just buy the silly looking gaiters. I bought them as soon as I got back from trail and use them 100% of the time for any of the trails I'm on now. They're actually kind of sick. Number 3, guys, buy a frickin' SPF chapstick because Burt's Bees sucks in the Sierra, okay? Oh my God, I cannot tell you how bad my lips were chapped after summiting Mount Whitney. They were chapped the rest of the trail, the rest of the 12 days I was on trail. So bad, in fact, that every morning I had to actually lick my lips open in order to get them unstuck from my other lip. It was not as romantic as it sounds, okay? It was gnarly, and they hurt. I had to literally like drop food in my mouth because I couldn't have the oils touching my lips. It was bad. Until someone gave me an SPF sunscreen, and that pretty much resolved it. So make sure you're getting an SPF sunscreen. I really recommend, or chapstick rather, I really recommend Tannery's products, and I'm kind of partnered with them. They reached out to me this summer, but I've been using their stuff. One, it tastes amazing. I would probably spread it on crackers and eat it if I was really desperate. But it's SPF, so oh my God, just get the SPF sunscreen. It's going to save you a lot of pain. Number 4, okay, the JMT is extremely exposed. Not only are you at the high elevation, so the sun's a lot stronger, you are at above tree line for most of the trail, okay? I mean, most of the trail is above 10,000 feet, right? So the sun, when it's out, is going to be relentless. I wore basically my button-up shirt and I had my sleeves all the way down pretty much the entire time. You gotta have something for your neck. I used my buff like folded So make sure you're covering yourself from the sun. Most people on the JMT would not start hiking until 8, 9 o'clock. I would be already 4, 5, 6 miles deep into my day by the time I'm passing some of these campers that are camping up. So I enjoyed, and this is just me, but I enjoyed starting my mornings early, preferably 6:15, 6:30, because there was no sun at that point. As soon as the sun came up over, because usually I was in the valley at that time, as soon as the sun came up and started coming out, I mean, it was it made it substantially different. It was way hotter. So if you can and if you enjoy to do it, make sure you're getting up in the morning so you can beat some of that sun. You can basically get some miles in. It pays dividends for the rest of your day. Number 5, say goodbye to Google. There was absolutely no service on this trail. I mean, none. I had service basically 2 of 14 days. That would be at Mount Whitney, and that would be at Red's Meadow. So those were literally the only 2 places on trail out of 14 days that I had service. Once I was getting near Yosemite Valley, I started getting service as well. I'd recommend getting an inReach or something of that matter if you want to check in with family and friends, because you are not going to be getting service at all. JMT has a plethora of feeder trails, and you can see them on if you get maps and stuff like that, but there's a ton of feeder trails where people will be entering for weekend backpacks or section hikes and things like that. So if you really want to stay up to date on things, I didn't want to, be more than welcome to ask them. They usually have more up-to-date things. Number 6, okay, you are not going to hike this as fast as you think you are, okay? Again, I'm used to the Cascade Mountains here in Oregon. Pretty rolly, nice manicured trails, not too many rocks. It's amazing. The JMT is completely different. I have never been on a trail that has been more rocky in my entire life. Of course, when I'm planning my JMT itinerary prior to the trail, I'm sitting on a nice little comfy couch, in the air conditioning and thinking, hey, I'm gonna feel like this today and this that day, and I'll probably chug out 21 miles here. One of the things I made an itinerary for was kind of a backstop to make sure I'm hitting my miles, and so I'll get done in time that I can get back to work. So what I recommend to do is research the trail, watch videos. How is your miles per hour going to change? What's your miles per hour on a nice rolly surface, dirt surface compared to something that's rocky? What's the elevation profile? That was the other thing, is you're doing a lot of ups and downs. I mean, every day it's pretty much a pass on the JMT, so you're doing a lot of up and down. In one of my videos, I actually say 1 Sierra Nevada mile is worth 2.5 Cascade miles. Just be conservative with your mileage is what I could say with that. Number 7, it is going to most likely storm every single day on the JMT. It stormed, or I've seen it storm, at least somewhere out where I was on trail, 12 of 14 days I was on the JMT, okay? And you can see this all over the place. You start seeing those big puffy clouds start forming around 9 a.m., 10. Usually it would start storming somewhere around 1 or 2. And it literally happened every single day. To go off of starting early, like I said before, it helps with this too, because you don't want to be at the top of your pass or not be able to summit a pass because you got a storm moving in over you. So waking up early has the benefit of beating the heat, but also beating the thunderstorms. I always tried to clear my passes before noon or 1 o'clock. And that's kind of just what I did for the rest of the trail, because I knew every day that these thunderstorms were going to come up. When you're doing Mount Whitney, you definitely want to do that early enough to where thunderstorms aren't going to be there. There's even a sign at Trail Crest saying, do not be up here anywhere near this if you start seeing clouds gathering. So getting that done early in the day is very, very critical. Number 8, it doesn't get exponentially easier after VVR, Vermilion Valley Resort, if you're going northbound. Every person that I talked to, southbounders, northbounders, everybody, said, oh, it's a piece of cake after Vermilion Valley Resort, which put me in the mindset that, oh, it's going to be pretty cruisy trail. Wrong. Northbounders experience at almost 1,200 more feet of elevation gain than southbounders during this time, totaling out to nearly 14,500 feet of vertical. with this 76 remaining miles. Now, albeit the trail is not as rocky as the first part. And if I had to compare the two, yes, the second part after VVR, if you want to call it that, would be easier than the first part. However, do not get into the mindset that this is going to be a cakewalk. Don't get down on it because you're wondering why this is so much more difficult than you were expecting, right? It really can kind of put you in a lousy mood. So one thing I had to do was remind myself, look, I'm not out here for an easy time, right? Like, this is a hard thing to do, and a lot of people don't do this because of this reason. Number 9, trail legs and trail hardiness do not just magically appear. I read the book Pacific Crest Trials by Zach Davis before I went out on this. The mental aspect and the why as to why you are going out and doing this are super important. I put it in my notes, and I would look at it from time to time. I can count at least up to 10 people that I know that quit the JMT early or for whatever reason. So you have to make sure that your training is dialed in and is specific to what you're going to be doing on the JMT. You can make the trail as easy or as hard as you want based on your itinerary, right? So know that, but also know that you need to be in shape to hike this trail. Okay, number 10 is make sure you use the Guthook hiking app. This app is absolutely amazing. Helps you know where your water sources are, your tent sites, X, Y, and Z. Make sure you download like the pictures with the icons, but also make sure you're downloading the offline map. I didn't do that, and all I had was a straight line of my trail. I didn't have any topo maps around it. I couldn't see anything else besides that, and so that kind of sucked. I've pretty much bought like every single map that they have, and if you're doing a trail that they cover, 100%, no questions asked, use that app. And the bonus tip. Okay, something that is extremely, extremely valuable in my research for the JMT was the John Muir Trail Facebook group. And all you do is you just type in John Muir Trail, you join the group, and there is so much good information on here that it really was kind of the one of the most valuable pieces of research for me. If you have a question about something, you can ask it in the group. A lot of people are there, members that have hiked it before, that will give you advice or how things work. One thing that's extremely kind of confusing is the permit system, which I do have a video on that, which will appear right here for you, just in case people find that valuable. But anything else, make sure you're going in here and you are researching the trail, okay? I met somebody that literally brought crampons to climb Mount Whitney. There was, in the middle of July, there was no snow anywhere on Mount Whitney, okay? So to avoid unnecessary suffering, make sure you're researching the trail, and the John Muir Trail Facebook group is a great way to do that. If you guys have any questions at all, leave a comment below, and I will 100% be sure to answer it. Also, you can DM me on Instagram at Chattahoochee. Have the time of your life. The JMT is absolutely amazing. It's a thru hike where you can actually do it with time off of work. I highly, highly recommend it. It was absolutely amazing. I got a tattoo of the trail. That's how much I loved it. And it's really been the catalyst for what I'm doing for future plans.